Welcome to the Thornton Review.
The show designed with you in mind. If it's important to you, it's important to us.
Hi, I'm Pueschel Schneier, executive producer and manager of the Thornton Review. Thank you for tuning in. On today's show, we have Bruce Woody, executive director of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority. So, Bruce, you've been on the show before.
Yes, sir.
And it's really great to have you back. Please introduce yourself.
I appreciate the invitation to come back. I'm the executive director of the ECUA. The elected board of the ECUA has essentially two employees. They have a lawyer that helps advise them on legal issues, and then they have executive director, which is my position, and then I work with the 650 employees to provide the services to our customers.
That's great. I appreciate that. And we'll talk more about your engineering expertise a little later. But first, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll begin our discussion with Bruce Woody with an update on some of the projects going on at ECUA. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Alpha Fence Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020.
Hi, I'm Pam Childers. I'm the elected clerk and comptroller, and I invite you to watch the Thornton Review for current information. It's best to stay informed, and you can do that at Thornton Review.
Hello, I'm John Roberts. I'm currently chairman of the Republican Party here in Escambia County, and I want to urge everyone, every citizen of this county to register and vote. We have a very important election coming up this November, and you need to be involved. An informed electorate is extremely important for our nation. One way you can be informed here in Escambia County is to listen to the Thornton Review, where you hear elected officials and community leaders tell you what they are thinking and what they are doing. It's a great source of information. So I hope you'll listen. I hope you'll register and vote. And if you want to strengthen our constitutional republic and you want to preserve and strengthen our free market enterprise system, then I hope that you will vote Republican. Thank you very much.
Bruce Woody grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. He received his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Science and Technology in Rolla, Missouri, and his master's degree in public administration from the University of Kansas in Lawrence. Bruce has had an extensive engineering career as assistant city engineer in Kansas City, Kansas for 5 years, director of public works in St. Joseph, Missouri for 15 years, and city manager for St. Joseph, Missouri for 9 years. Bruce continues to hold his license for professional engineering in the states of Missouri and Kansas. Bruce was St. Joseph, Missouri's longest-serving city manager. During his career, he was awarded the Key to the City twice by 2 different mayors and was honored by the Missouri State Legislature with House Resolution 5337 on March 9, 2020, honoring his years of public service to the city of St. Joseph. Bruce became the executive director of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority in May of 2020. He and his wife, Christina Woody, have been happily married for 40 years and have 6 children together. So, Rose, thanks for coming on. I remember when you were hired at ECUA because I was kind of part of the interviewing process. I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee and I was invited to some of the interviews and the meet and greets. And so that was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, May of
2020?
2020.
Yeah, so almost 4.5 years ago. So was it culture shock moving to Pensacola?
Not really. My family vacations down here very frequently
Okay.
for the preceding 20, 25 years probably. Had some friends and others in the area.
So you were expecting the heat?
Yes.
Heat? You knew about it already?
That's right.
Okay. So there's always something going on at ECUA with the capital improvements and the water reclamation facility. And ECUA has received quite a number of awards over the years. And so recently they received some awards, some national awards for the water reclamation facility and the permits. Can you tell us what has to be done in order to get the awards?
Yeah. ECUA provides basically three services. One is drinking water, the other is sanitation, and the third enterprise is water reclamation, or the collection, conveyance, and treatment of wastewater. And there's a national organization for clean water agencies. It's a membership-based group across the entire United States, made up of member utilities who provide information for the members, of course. But they also have a annual peak performance award that they provide to members who achieve exceptional compliance with their operating permits. Every wastewater facility or water reclamation facility has a set of parameters they have to meet for discharge of their treated effluent. And to receive this award, you have to have less than 5 excursions over an entire calendar year. To kind of put that in perspective, with ECUA, across our entire department, we have 12,825 compliance points that have to be met, and between 3 different water reclamation facilities. We only missed 6 out of those. That's a 99.95% permit compliance.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of good engineers working there.
We do.
Top of the line.
We do.
Absolutely, you have to. Because water is the most important utility.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't live without water. You can't live without clean water.
Right.
And it's y'all's job to make sure it's clean. Number one, public safety is always number one, I'm sure. And there's a lot of working components. You know, a lot of machinery that has to be working properly in order to do all of this.
There's actually 3 water reclamation facilities across our organization. Most people are probably most familiar with the Central Water Reclamation Facility
That's
that
up at Kim Strand.
that was moved. It used to be downtown,
Right.
and our relocation has really allowed and helped spur a wonderful redevelopment of that area. We also have one on the west side called Bayou Marcus. And then we also have one at Pensacola Beach as well. The Central Water Reclamation Facility earned a silver award. This is the 8th out of the last 12 years that it's been eligible to win this national award. The Bayou Marcus facility, this is their 11th consecutive year, and they've won a total of 20 out of last 23 years. In the Pensacola Beach facility, this is their 8th consecutive year for an award. So I'm really proud of the staff that work at those facilities.
Absolutely. Congratulations. That's really good. Good to hear. Good news. So ECUA has a new online bill pay system. Didn't they always have one?
Yes, we
Or
have.
Not always, but for a while they've had an online bill pay system.
Yeah, we're always
you have a new one.
Yeah, we're always looking for opportunities to improve our services, and we recently changed from a firm called Kubra, which is probably everybody's familiar with, to a new one called InfoSend. Our concern being that we wanted to be sure that we had a facility or a software system that was easily accessible, whether you were on a tablet or a computer or your mobile phone for that matter. So this new system has several new features. The interface is much more intuitive, so it's very user-friendly. There are lots of flexible pay options whether it's credit card, direct bank transfer, or ACH, or if you want to schedule recurring payments. You can actually make multiple payments now. Weren't able to do that for our customers. Perhaps they're a landlord and own multiple, or a business owner that owns multiple properties. You can combine those into one larger account and make a single payment instead of several payments.
I love that because I'm a property manager and I have a slew of them on one account. And when I need to look at, I have them all on auto pay, so I never even have to look at it. I never even think about it. But when I do want to look at them, they're just all on one page. I just click on the one I want to look at.
And the old Cooper system also used to have a maximum amount you could pay at any one time. We don't have that limit now with InfoSend, so you don't have to make multiple payments if you happen to have a large string of payments that you want to make all at one time. Of course, it's online, so it's accessible 24/7. Another really neat feature is text messaging. If you want to set up messages to yourself, your bill's due today or 5 days from now, or whatever the case may be, it'll send reminders. Those are messages that you schedule and can set up and can change at will under this new system.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love reminders.
Yeah.
I can't live without them. So, well, tell us about some of the capital improvement projects. I know capital improvement projects have been going on since ECUA started. So can you tell us about what's going on now and what you've accomplished recently?
We budget about $35 million a year in capital improvement projects. So that includes projects that are under design as well as projects that are under construction. Some of the larger ones that are under construction this particular year, we're working with the Florida Department of Transportation on several different projects. As you know, the FDOT is working on I-10 right now. We have several projects where we're relocating and in some cases upsizing some water mains in association with that project. We just completed one on 9 Mile.
The land, because they're expanding the roads, and so you have to move things.
Yeah, if they're adding an extra lane, replacing a bridge, increasing the span of a bridge, and we happen to have that's what's going on under 9 Mile. They're expanding increasing the span of the bridge, and because of that, we have a water line on 9 Mile on the south lane that we had to move over because of a bridge replacement that's currently ongoing.
Which bridge, though? Where is it on 9 Mile?
It's actually a bridge on I-10 over 9 Mile. Over 9 Mile. We're also working with them for a new project on Michigan Avenue. Of course, that road changes names several different times.
Beverly
over
Parkway,
on the west end where it's Softly Field is roughly where it starts. That project only started about a month ago, but we'll be installing a brand new, larger size water main while that construction project is underway.
So water main, is that a pipe?
Yes, drinking water.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it comes from an aquifer nearby?
Yeah, our we have a very decentralized system. That's how our drinking water system is put together. Rather than having a single well with treatment at one location, where it's then distributed across the community, we actually have 31 wells scattered across our community.
I can't imagine having one.
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
Yeah.
But 30 spread out.
Yeah.
And then you have pumps along the way. That to pump the water.
At each one of those wells, they produce anywhere from 1,500, maybe 2,000 gallons per minute, to our largest one that produces about 4,000 gallons per minute. At each of those wells, we perform the treatment necessary to bring it up to standards. We adjust pH. We run it through a filtration system. Add a phosphate for corrosion resistance for pipes, and then it gets in disinfection, and then it gets added out into the system. So there's pumps at each of those locations. As you know, we also have several water towers scattered across the community and several groundwater storage tanks as well.
So you have to have pumps to pump the water up into the towers.
Yes.
And then because it's so high in a tower, you don't need a pump to pump it out because it's gravity fed.
That's right.
And it just goes to your pipes when you turn your water on. It's gravity fed, but there have to be pumps along the way because some of it is lateral underground, right?
In some locations, particularly around the extremities of our service area, for instance, on Mobile Highway and again on 9 Mile, serving the Beulah area, we have some booster pumps at a few locations to help us with conveyance as well as help us to maintain water pressures in those areas.
So the pumps are run by electricity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so what if we have a hurricane and the electricity's out? Does that mean we don't have water?
No, we have a really very detailed remote sensing system that controls not only for our drinking water system but also for our wastewater pumping system as well. Sends information back and forth so we know what wells have utility power and which ones don't. Usually when a hurricane comes through, it'll affect different parts of town.
Right.
Some will be off and some will not. Our larger facilities all have local generators there that will automatically switch on. Some of our smaller pump stations may not, but we have remote sensing, so we know that when the wet well is full and needs to be pumped or whatnot, so we can keep up with that with generators that we drive around from pump to pump until utility power is returned.
Yeah, there's just so much machinery, and just so much mechanical and engineering involved. It's just amazing. So what about the recycling facility? So I know that that's a major component for ECUA, even though some customers, like the city of Pensacola, have dropped their recycling program. Can you tell us what's going on at the MRF?
Yeah. Our materials recovery facility, or MRF for short,
I like the way you call it,
MRF.
materials recovery facility, because when I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee, it was always referred to as the materials recycling facility. And when you're talking about it to anybody in town who doesn't know or hasn't thought much into it, they think that we're actually recycling things in Pensacola. But we are not recycling anything in Pensacola, because to recycle means to melt down the plastic or melt down whatever you're using and then create something new with it. We are separating the plastic from the paper and the cardboard and the glass. Everything is being separated. So what did you call it? A
materials recovery facility.
Recovery facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Across the United States, all the various MRFs that are operated either by private industry or by public entities provide the service just like you described. Their materials either picked up by the local city or county or sometimes private companies, and are brought to a facility that then goes through and sorts that material. In some communities, some of the sorting takes place at the curb. The community provides you a green and a red and a blue bin.
I was going to say that.
And the customer themselves does the sorting before they're picked up.
Right.
In other communities, the recycled materials are commingled, as they are in our community. So we provide one bin. We don't ask you to sort those materials. All we ask you to do is be sure that what's put in the recycling bin are materials that are eligible to be recycled. And keep that separate from the garbage or trash can. Yep. Because that's a significant problem for all MRFs. Yeah, it's called contamination. That's when people aren't mindful of keeping trash separated from recycling, or with good,
or they just don't know,
or they don't know, and with good intention, they put things in the recycling container that aren't eligible for recycling. Our contamination rate in our community runs around 45%, sometimes even a little higher. When ideally it should be down closer to 20 or 25%.
Right.
So quite a bit of energy, time, and expense is associated with literally taking the garbage out of the recycling. Yeah, that's a challenge. So we do always ask and try to impress upon our customers the need and importance of distinguishing what's really recyclable. And we promote that by talking about the core four. The core four items are that we recycle here locally are tin and aluminum, so metals. really just cans and things associated with drinking containers
But not
and,
aluminum
and
foil.
food containers, but not aluminum foil, not aluminum.
Nothing flimsy.
Baking types of things like that. A second item then is paper. That can be white paper or mixed paper. That would include all of the kinds of junk mail that you get in the.
I was going to say
that you might throw away.
Everything that I find in my mailbox
Right.
goes straight into the trash can.
Right. Another category is cardboard or corrugate of various types, whether it's the conventional type that your Amazon delivery might come in, or boxes, or even cereal boxes and those types of things. Lastly would be glass. Glass is challenging for us, though. There isn't a local place. Actually, there's not even a regional location that accepts glass for recycling. So we have to haul it a considerable distance, and that comes at quite an expense. But those are the four items that we accept. Oh, I didn't even mention plastic. I forgot that one. And when you look at a plastic item, you'll see a little triangle shape on the back with the arrows, and there's a number in them. The types of plastics we recycle are number 1 and number 2. The other types, there are no area recyclers for 5 and 7, which are another type that you see quite often. So milk jugs, clear plastics, and those types of things we'll take. But
You do take milk jugs?
yes, yeah, those are generally number 2 plastics, but 5s and 7s we don't take.
Ketchup bottles?
Yes,
The plastic ketchup bottles?
yeah.
So
we ask that you rinse them out.
out.
They don't have to be completely
What if you
clean.
don't? What if they don't? What if they're not rinsed out and they have a little bit in the bottom?
We'll still take them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll still take them.
Because
Same for pizza. As long
boxes.
pizza boxes, if they're a little greasy, that's okay. We don't want whole pieces of pizza or big chunks of cheese left on them. You can clean that off, but a little bit of grease is not.
what about like napkins and paper towels?
Those are paper products that will make it.
Really? They do make
the things that we really want to be sure that we don't get, though, are things that tangle up our machinery.
Plastic bags, grocery bags,
Grocery bags can't be
Garbage
recycled at our
bags.
facilities, right?
water hoses.
Water hoses that are they may have made of plastic, but they're not recyclable. All they do is tangle up our equipment. There's some safety issues I'm really concerned about as well. People will discharge or get rid of metal kerosene containers and Nikon batteries of various types for rechargeable rechargeable equipment and
Right.
computers and things like that.
Explosive
Those
and
kinds of
fire
things can
hazard.
start fires.
Right. Okay, so we put you don't want to put recycles in a bag. You just throw everything
Yes, correct.
separately
Correct.
into the recycle
Recycling
can.
can. That's right.
And then the recycle truck comes and takes it to the MRF, and then the recycle truck empties it. And then what happens?
At the MRF, everything is dumped into one large pile, and we load it into a piece of equipment
And you
that
have
goes through
workers
several.
that actually physically handle it and load it into
Yeah,
the conveyor belt.
Yeah. That's done with the piece of equipment, but after it's loaded in there, it goes through a process where first we try to separate trash, things that don't belong there,
Right.
because we don't want those items to damage the equipment that's further downstream. It goes through a several step separation process. Paper and
seen
corrugate
it.
comes
It's
off first.
Really interesting.
And then heavy things like glass come off right away, and then we sort plastics, and primarily from there. We have 9 computers and robots that also help us with that process.
Do you have people up there also, even though you have the robots? Do you have a person?
Yes,
looking
we
at
have
it
about
also?
15 people in addition to some ECWA staff that do some manual sorting. That happens primarily at the beginning when we're trying to get trash and things out that don't belong. Once that has been cleaned out of the system and we're down to those core 4 items predominantly, then the mechanical equipment and the robots do a pretty good job of sorting the rest of it.
That's neat. That's pretty cool. I should go out there again and do another tour because you've got a lot of new stuff since
Yeah.
I've been out there 4 years ago.
Yeah,
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. At that time, I think we had one robot. We've actually added 8 since that time.
I'm not sure if you had any when I was out there. I've been on 2 tours actually, but yeah, it was just people sorting it. Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat to see. I mean, it's just a spectacular operation.
Yeah, then
It's
once
really
we've
fun.
sorted it, then we bale the individual commodities, and then we take it to market. We have brokers that purchase the materials, and they take them to a third party who will then turn them into another
Does
product.
the actual recycling.
Correct.
So we're just separating everything and selling it to be recycled.
Yes.
To an actual place that actually does the recycling, but Pensacola doesn't recycle. We
Yeah. Separate,
accept
sort, and
the
get
recyclables.
it out to the market. Right.
Yeah. Because I've spoken to a lot of people. They I guess they haven't thought through the actual fact that recycling there's a lot involved to it. It's separating everything.
And to go through that process to actually do the recycling, you need to have pretty considerable volumes of those materials. So you couldn't sustain a corrugate or a pulp mill here or a plastic recycling here just based on the volume that we produce in our community, even as large as it is. It really takes a regional source of those plastics and mixed paper and cardboard to get enough volume for the production that's done elsewhere.
So it's 4 things that you're sorting, that you're looking for?
4 things, yeah.
And it's plastic,
Plastics,
paper, glass, and what was the 4th?
aluminum and tin.
Aluminum. Okay, tin cans.
And
Aluminum
in that
cans.
in that category of paper, we include cardboard.
Okay. But not clothing that can jam up.
All that does is tangle things up, and that's considered
and not
trash.
plastic bags, not grocery bags.
That's
Or
right.
any type of plastic bags. That doesn't fall under plastic.
Right. Yeah, just those core 4.
Yeah. So what is the major contamination, do you think? I'm sure it's a mixture of things, but what do you see most as
Yeah,
the contamination?
it really is anything and everything that you can
Things
imagine.
that I would imagine
Yeah,
plastic bags.
Yeah, we have-
Because I would imagine a lot of people put their recycles in a plastic bag and then tie it up and throw it in the can.
Yeah, that could be a problem. But big picture, the problem is that many people just use it as a trash can. So anything and everything that you would find in a trash can sometimes makes it into the recycling can.
Yeah.
Food waste, diapers. I mean, just anything you can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, too bad, not everybody knows.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't care. So I think that ECUA would prefer people just to not recycle at all than to throw their garbage in the recycle can. If you don't want to recycle or you don't know what to recycle and you don't care about learning what to recycle, just opt out of it. Don't get a can.
I'm glad you said that. This last budget cycle, our board talked quite a bit about that subject because
Yeah,
of the
'cause a lot of people just
because
don't
of
care.
the cost of recycling has been going up, and people haven't been recycling as much, and our contamination issue is a problem. So a change that was made last year is that now going forward, if you're a new customer or an existing customer, your choice for the basic service is to have 2 cans, and it's up to you whether you want both of those cans to be a trash can or whether you want one of them to be a trash can and one of them to be a recycling can.
Okay. So you can actually have 2 garbage cans.
Right.
Instead of a garbage can and a recycle can that
Yeah,
you use the recycle
yeah.
can as a garbage can. That's okay,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, if you're not passionate about recycling, and you would rather not participate, it would actually help our program
Right.
for you to just go ahead and give us a
Get
call,
2 garbage
and we'll
cans
swap
if you
out
need to.
we'll swap out the recycling can for a second trash can, and that way
That's
that'll
great.
help us with our contamination rate.
That's a brilliant idea. I like
Yeah.
that. So that's something new that y'all did.
Yeah.
So we need to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And the Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Bruce Woody, Executive Director of ECUA. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Alpha Fence Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020.
Hi, I'm Pam Childers. I'm the elected clerk and comptroller, and I invite you to watch the Thornton Review for current information. It's best to stay informed, and you can do that at Thornton Review.
You can watch our program on Pensacola Urban Network, Praise TV on WBQP 12.1, WBQP 12.8 Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., WBQP Praise TV on Roku Television Network, or download Praise TV on Google Play Store or Amazon Fire. Our website, thethorntonreview.com, and our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show. Okay, so we're back to the show, and I have a really important question for you. So not every customer uses the bulk waste and yard waste pickup, but both of these services are available. So we've got a bulk waste pickup. What would that be? Refrigerators, couches, mattresses?
Yeah, we actually
And
provide.
that's included in the monthly service, so you don't pay more if you have that? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. We provide 4 services, and everybody certainly is aware of the trash pickup. And we just talked about recycling as another service. We also pick up yard waste for residential customers. Again, this is just residential we're talking about. If you have yard clippings, you've have a tree limb fall in the backyard, you're trimming your hedges, those sorts of things, pulling weeds, whatever the case may be, we will accept at the curb on your regular trash pickup day. You don't even need to call us about this because we run all of our routes for the yard waste. And we will pick up that material. And what we do, and the only limits we have is if you're putting them in a paper bag or a container that we can dump and leave at your curb, no more than 20 of those. Or
Bags?
if they're in bags, or if they're in piles, we'll only accept
6 by
2
6.
piles, 6 by 6 by 4.
Okay.
What we do then, when we pick up that material, is we take it up to our central water reclamation facility. We have large acreage up there, and we set aside an area for composting
compost.
operation. We run it through a grinder so it gets shredded down into a fine material. We combine it with an inoculant plus biosolids from the adjacent water reclamation facility. We'll put it in windrows, and then over a period of time, we return that. And
It gets to a certain temperature.
in about 30 to 45 days, it turns into a really nice compost material. We'll run that through a screen, and then that is available for sale back to our customers.
So just the science behind it is amazing because it gets to a certain temperature on its own, the combustion.
Yes, yeah. Just the heat of the biological breakdown will raise it up to about 131 degrees. And when it gets to that temperature, then we run it through a windrow machine, and we'll turn it.
Has there ever been like a fire?
If it were unattended, it could be. It could, but we have temperature probes in every windrow, so we monitor those so we know when to turn them.
Is it outside in the elements?
Yes, it's outside.
And none of it's covered?
No. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. We get a lot of rain in this area, and if it's a particularly rainy season, then that can slow down the composting process. But it
because of
still,
the heat.
but it still moves along. pretty
So,
good.
okay, so after it's created and it's finished, you've got the finished product, what do y'all do?
Then we screen it down to a certain size so that it looks like kind of a
Like
thick,
soil.
like a thick potting soil,
potting soil.
almost. Yeah. Then we will sell that product back to the general public. You can either purchase it in bags, or if you have a pickup truck or a trailer, you can pick it up and buy it by the cubic yard as well.
Do you shovel it into your own truck, or is there somebody that does that?
We'll have a skid steer loader there that can load it if you're buying it in bulk. All you have to do is call our or look up on our ECUA website. There is a page specifically for composting.
So what is the website? I'm sorry.
It's ecua.fl.gov.
ecua.fl.gov.
Yeah. Pardon me.
You can navigate that website. There's a lot of information on the website.
There is about recycling and about all of our waste services,
The garbage,
billing
the
process,
water, the
how to pay a bill, where to
sewer.
pay a bill. Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
So if you go to that page about the compost, you'll find a phone number there you can call. If our operator isn't there, you'll receive a recorded message where you can go through a process to actually choose a date to come by, pick it up. Or on the website itself, you can actually choose a date and time to come pick up the materials.
So what type of customers buy the compost?
Pretty wide range, anywhere from residential. In fact, that's our preferred customer, is to try to return this material to the folks that we got it from, our own customers. So we'll have folks come up and pick it up in a pickup truck, or buy it by the bag, and we use it for gardening or as a soil amendment. Say they've got some areas in their yard that aren't growing very well, they want to add a little additional soil that has a good fertilizer component.
Can you use it like for land to fill? Like if you have a low area on your property, would it be good to?
You
raise
can
the
use it
level
for
of
that
that?
as well. It's a fairly moist material, kind of like a potting soil. So you probably wouldn't want to use it to fill anything over 5 or 6 inches maybe.
And so, go ahead.
And I was just going to move on to the bulk waste
Okay.
part of the question as well.
Yeah.
So our fourth service then is bulk waste. If you have an item, say you've bought a new couch or a new refrigerator, a new washer or dryer or dishwasher, whatever the case may
Water heater.
may be, a water heater. Yeah.
Dishwasher.
If you have something you need to discard it with, and you don't have the means or the interest in taking it to the landfill yourself, then you can contact us by phone. Call customer service. They'll ask you what type of item is proposed to be picked up.
Sure.
And then as long as it's at least prior to 2 p.m. the day before a regular pickup, we'll pick it up that week.
Wow.
If it's after that period of time, then we'll pick it up the following week. But we'll tell you what day of the week that is.
And that's just included in your bill. You don't charge extra for that.
Right, within reasonable limits.
Sure.
We'll pick up 1 or 2 items. If it's something small, it should go in your trash can. But a large item, we'll pick up.
Right. How
what-
often?
what-
Like, is there can somebody call every single week and have some stuff picked
we'll
up?
actually do that. Yeah. Now, what we can't do, just because it's not financially efficient and that's not the intended use, we won't pick up. Like, say, if a landlord evicted somebody and has a whole
Yeah, the
windrow
entire
of stuff,
apartment full
we
of
can't do that. If it's larger than just a few items, we will come out and take a look at it and provide you a cost estimate for an additional fee. But if it's just single items
Is
here
it
and there,
based on weight?
weight and volume both, a little bit.
Good.
There's a difference between picking up 1 or 2 mattresses versus a whole small apartment's worth of
Right.
furniture.
Hotel Fort
Right.
Worth. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well that's good because I'll bet maybe a lot of people don't realize that, and they're wondering, well, what can we do with this junk that's in our backyard? And just put it out to the street.
Yeah.
And call ECUA.
Again, that's just in the ECUA service area.
Sure,
If
not within the city of Pensacola.
Yeah, if you're a city of Pensacola, then your service is provided by the city, and I believe the city does charge you for bulk waste.
Okay, probably.
And
by the
unfortunately,
pound.
they don't currently have a recycling program either.
I know they do bulk waste. because I had something out beside one of the properties that I managed, and I was hoping that somebody, it was like a table and chair, like an outdoor seating thing, and I was actually hoping that somebody would like it and be able to take it and use it. And it was out there for not very long, and I saw the city bulk waste truck come by and get. I didn't call them, but they saw it and they took it.
Okay.
So, oh well, I didn't want it, so that's okay. Well, can we talk some about some of the things that were going on the last time you were on the show, about a year ago, like updates on. There was a replacement of a forced water main on Fort Pickens Road at Pensacola Beach. So that was about a year ago. I think it was being worked on. Is that completed, and is there going well with it?
Yeah. We've that particular one you're talking about is on Fort Pickens Road, probably a half a mile west of the intersection of Vindaluna, and went west for about 3/4 of a mile, maybe something like that. That was an older force main, and we'd had a few breaks on it, so it was time to replace the entire segment. That's a good example. Like several other locations, we have a pretty good asset management system where we try to keep track of the age of water lines, force mains, various things. And when we have a record of maintenance problems, or we realize that the particular material that infrastructure is made out of is getting to the end of its useful life, then we'll schedule replacement. Sometimes it's replacement, sometimes it's rehabilitation. We spend about between $9 and $10 million a year relining gravity sewer mains. Those are sewer systems that collect wastewater from homes and businesses, and then they drain by gravity back to a wastewater pumping station. As those systems age, pipes crack, joints start leaking groundwater, things like that are inefficient. So we'll actually line the inside of the existing one. That increases their strength, keeps out the groundwater, helps provide some other engineering benefits in terms of conveyance, and then you have essentially a brand new pipe.
Great. So there's been a lot of growth lately. I'm sure you're aware of Beulah just has exploded with housing developments, Beulah and Cantonment.
Yes.
There are so many more houses being built that have been built, and it's continuing. More roads, more subdivisions. So how's ECUA keeping up with all of that?
Let me tell you first about the drinking water. We've got two big projects we've got going on that very subject because of the growth that's going on in Beulah.
Okay, so just to break it down, we've got drinking water, and we've got sewer, and we've got the garbage. But we'll start with drinking water.
Okay. On the drinking water side, as we mentioned earlier, we have 31 wells altogether. 28 of them are in operation at most of the time. But we are currently constructing a new well to help increase our capacity in the west side of town. That well will be located on Divine Farm Road on the west end, just north of I-10. When that well is added, we will also be constructing a large transmission main.
Is that in Cantonment? Or Beulah? Divine Farm Road?
At that location,
what's that off of?
I don't know if that would have a Cantonment address or a Beulah address, since it's on the north side of I-10. But that well then will be connected to a new transmission main that we'll also be building, that will go from 97 west down Divine Farm Road to this location. We'll go under I-10, and then we'll connect on to Frank Reeder Road, and we'll continue on over to Beulah Road. That main will probably be 16 inches in diameter, and will help increase conveyance of flow, and will be served by that new well.
Is this because of the new growth? All the new
Yes.
subdivisions? Who's paying for it?
We charge an impact fee
To the developers.
to the developers
Okay,
as
good.
they construct. And we have an impact fee for water, and we also have an impact fee for wastewater, both.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we'll be using largely funds from the impact fees for water for the Beulah well and transmission main. That
That's
is
important to
That
me.
that
I
isn't
think
that
that's
isn't
it.
the only thing that's being. We are using rates as well. We have existing capacity issues that we're addressing, even
Okay.
above and beyond the. Providing for additional growth, even above and beyond what's happened already.
Yeah, because before you build the house, you want to make sure you're able to have water to it. And before you build an entire subdivision, you have to have that infrastructure in place. So I guess that there's steps involved. There's a flow chart of what developers have to do in order to, build a house and sell a house to a happy family.
Yeah, for developers going in and building a subdivision, say 50 homes, and they're required to pay for,
The
design, and
improvements.
install, and we approve all the improvements to provide drinking water and wastewater services within the bounds of the property. Sometimes, depending on issues outside of their property, they also have to pay for some improvements outside the bounds of their property. So they have to
Right.
increase the size of a given
Because if there's not a main going to that area, you
Right.
have to build a main.
That's right.
And so impact fees come into play for the main
Well,
and
well,
the individual.
the offsite sometimes can be directly the responsibility, payment-wise, for the developer, in addition to the cost of paying for impact fees, because impact fees are really more global. Sometimes we will apply those to capacity improvements at the treatment plant, of which we only have 3.
Right.
So that could be quite a distance away sometimes.
So have you had to expand the water reclamation facility because of all this growth? Well, first off, do these new developments, these new neighborhoods, are they on sewer or septic? Maybe some of them sewer and some of them septic. Like, how far does the sewer go? Because I know not all of Cantonment has sewer,
True.
and I don't know about
For the
Beulah.
most part, most of them are on sewer of some sort, either gravity sewer
Okay.
or low pressure force mains of various sorts.
And does it go to the
it's-
water reclamation
The
facility?
only time that you'll have a development go in that'll be on a septic tank is it's a pretty small, or it's far enough out that there's no reasonable sewer
infrastructure,
within, and there's enough area to adequately percolate.
So the sewer has expanded then in the last 4 years.
Yeah, it continues to. Probably its larger growth areas are in Beulah and Cantonment up I-29.
Because I know the water reclamation facility has a certain capacity, and how far are you to exceeding that or getting to the
We're in really great shape at the Central Water Reclamation Facility. That facility was just built in 2007.
right?
Our average daily flow during dry weather is about 22 million gallons a day. It has capacity well in excess of that. Probably the next facility.
22 million gallons a day
Yeah.
is what what can it take? How many millions of gallons would it be able to take a day?
Yeah.
Like more?
Yeah, considerably more than that. The one facility that would probably be next have to be increased in size due to growth. It would probably be the Bayou Marcus facility. In fact, we're making some investments currently to increase our energy facilities to that facility, and we may be increasing its size probably in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years.
So the Biomarcus facility, is it similar in engineering, design, and structure to the Central Water Reclamation facility? It's just smaller?
No. There's
It's a lot different.
there's a fair number of differences, mainly because of age. It's an older facility
Okay.
that served the
And the
community.
proximity to the bayou.
That too. All 3 of the facilities, even though we have a set standards in our permit that we have to meet, we voluntarily treat our wastewater that comes to those facilities to advanced wastewater standards.
Cool.
Above and beyond, because even though that's not required of us, that's just a standard that we like to provide for our community, because the water is so important to us.
Absolutely. I mean, you live here. Everybody who works at ECUA lives here, bathes in the water, drinks the water, uses all the services, so you want it to be the best.
Right.
I mean, you're doing it for yourself, but then also you care about the community, you care about public safety. So it's very important that the water is clean and drinkable. It's not causing cancer, or that there's not lead in it, or high levels of arsenic or whatever could kill somebody. Like Flint, Michigan had people working there apparently that didn't really care. They were just trying to push through what
Flint, Michigan's issue was that they were taking water from
a place that they knew was contaminated because it was
Lake
cheaper.
Huron, and then they changed it to a river intake, and that changed pH of the water. When the pH changes, then you have less corrosion resistance, and then the lead that was in pipes were able to be leached, and that was the problem that caused.
But they knew
them.
they knew it was happening.
Yeah.
So we don't have that at ECUA.
No, at each one of our
If
each one of
somebody
our
knows what's
wells,
going on, they're going to fix it.
Right, at
They're
each one
not
of
going to
our-
just shove it under the rug and hope nobody notices. Yeah, that's really important to a community.
yeah,
We
we
appreciate
take
that.
a lot of pride in like the example I gave at the beginning of our discussion. We receive regular awards for our level of compliance with our permits. That's important to us.
Absolutely. So you have people actually come and visit your facility, all of your departments, in order to issue the awards, right? Or are they going by what was documented and what was
Yeah, they go by.
reported.
That's
y'all have
primarily-
reports and documentation
Right.
and everything.
Each individual state has a Department of Environmental Quality. In the state of Florida, it's the Florida Department of Environmental Protection,
Okay.
and they issue our permits, and all of our sampling and sample results are then submitted to the FDEP. So when I mentioned that there's over 12,000 compliance points, each one of those is an individual sample and a test result that's turned into the state to show that we're have done the adequate treatment of the drinking water or treatment of wastewater.
Right. It's all about adequacy.
That's right. Right.
And standards and what's allowed, what's acceptable, what's harmful, and what's not.
Right.
There's a lot involved.
Yes, sir.
There's more than we can talk about today. I have to have you back on next year.
I'd welcome the opportunity.
Every year, yeah. So, okay, so here's something to follow up on. There was a multi-phase project to build irrigation system on Pensacola Beach. Has that been completed, or is it still in the works?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about there is a
reclaimed water.
reclaimed water system. One of our 3 water reclamation facilities is on Pensacola Beach right now. Although it treats to advanced wastewater treatment standards, our current permit is to discharge into the Sound, that treated effluent. What we're wanting, or we're working on through several phases, is to instead redirect that into an irrigation system. Right now, there is one section of pipe that quite a bit of our flow goes to that irrigates the medians along Vinda Luna. And that's a wonderful program, and the project you just discussed would extend that significantly. We have a phase that we built last year that went from roughly the intersection of Fort Pickens and Vindaluna, a little ways back to the north. We have a phase that is beginning.
So it's mainly for the public property right now, but private individuals will be able to use it? at
When
some
it's
point?
constructed, we're essentially adding pipes that we will then pump the effluent into so that it could be used for irrigation, not only in public spaces along the medians of the roadway, but we'll also sell that water to interested parties like the hotels who may want to use it for landscaping irrigation.
What about for their like fountains? Like some hotels have fountains outside with rocks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You could
that would
use
be
it
suitable for that purpose as well.
And what about for like individuals who live in houses on the beach, like to wash their car or do whatever they like their garden hose? Like they can use the
It
water
would be
for-
limited to those folks that are in close proximity. The distribution system won't go into the neighborhoods. It'll only be along the two main routes. Our other limitation is we only have a certain amount of effluent that's available, and it's very seasonable. In the busy tourist season, we produce about 1.7 million gallons a day of water that would be eligible to be used in this system. In the off season, though, in the winter, when there's less tourists on the beach, that flow drops down to about 700,000 or 800,000. So we'd have to kind of temper the demand for the availability of water.
Bruce, it was so nice to have you on the show.
Yeah.
I love talking to you. I love talking to everybody from ECUA.
Yeah.
I'm just like passionate about it. I love it. I ran for ECUA back, I think, before you came on.
Probably
Might have been
was.
during that time.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I met Charles, the Thornton Review. Charles Thornton.
Right.
Yeah, because I met him the same day I met you, actually, 4 years ago. That was fun.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have you back on, sincerely. It's a lot of fun talking to you.
Welcome the
We could
opportunity.
talk
We always
forever.
have different projects that are going on that would be of interest to the public. So I appreciate this as a forum to get some of that information out.
Absolutely. The Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. This show is brought to you by Ida Gates Godly Teas LLC, Alpha Fence Company, and our guest, Bruce Woody, the Executive Director of ECUA. And we thank you for watching the show. Bye-bye. You can watch our program on Pensacola Urban Network, Praise TV on WBQP 12.1, WBQP 12.8 Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., WBQP Praise TV on Roku Television Network, or download Praise TV on Google Play Store or Amazon Fire. Our website, thethorntonreview.com, and our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show.